Okay, I want to deal with this right here, which is AIDS and Ebola. All right, let's look at some of the facts. AIDS, from 1981 to 2004, more than 20 million people have died from AIDS worldwide, most of them of African descent. If you want to do more reading on AIDS and Ebola, and they were manufactured around the same time at the same place, population control, extermination weapons, United States Army Bioweapons Lab, Fort Detrick, Maryland, it's still there. You can't get in unless you have top security clearance, okay? 2 books I would direct you to. One is written by a white, one is written by a black. One of them is called Emerging Viruses. Emerging Viruses is a book that was written by Lynn Horowitz, one of America's top biochemists, well-credentialed, well-certified European, who basically said, and he's no friend of black folks, he did not write the book for black people. He was just talking about his findings, and that was that AIDS, in no way, shape, or form, was a natural disease, that it was man-made and manufactured.
Thank you.
We've also seen in the research that the AIDS virus selectively seeks out cells that have a high concentration of melanin within them. So the virus actually looks for black people. Okay? Now, one thing needs to be said, because you do have people who would say that AIDS don't exist. I don't agree with that at all. AIDS does exist. But what I will agree with them on is that they keep expanding the definition of AIDS on purpose to include things that are not AIDS because it serves the profit motive. The more people diagnosed with AIDS, the more drugs you push, the more money the Wall Street drug companies make. Everybody follow me? So you can very well be diagnosed with AIDS and not have it. Let's look at the test, okay? The test that they use for the AIDS test does not test for whether you have the disease. It tests for whether you have the virus. So let's say you go to the doctor, right? Excuse me, whether you have the antibodies. You go to the doctor right now, I want to take an AIDS test. They're not testing to see whether you have AIDS. They're testing to see if you have any of the AIDS antibodies that any of us can have at any time because you breathe them in through the environment. It's just like testing for cancer antibodies. Most of us have cancer antibodies in us right now, but we don't have cancer. They're in the air. You can breathe them in. And depending on what type of medication you take, depending on your blood type, depending on your diet, you can very easily be diagnosed with AIDS and not even have it. Wow. Okay? United States Congress Office of Accounting, they said that a heterosexual male was, when you take the AIDS test as a heterosexual male, 50% of the time the test is wrong if you're a heterosexual male. Pregnant women can often get a wrong diagnosis. Certain types of immunizations can bring about a wrong diagnosis. That's why whenever you take an AIDS test, you have to sign a disclaimer that you will not sue if you find out you did not have it. Okay? Yes, that's why they make you sign. Because if this is not right, you cannot come back and sue us for this. Because it's only a test. And tests can be wrong. Here's the thing I gotta understand. There is no true science in America. Because America is a capitalistic society, which means everything is based on how much money can be made. So that means they will keep truth away from you if it hurts money, and they will make up a truth if it advances money. There's too much money to be made off of AIDS for them to ever accurately diagnose it. The test is designed to misdiagnose people, just like ADHD. The criteria are designed to make sure your son get misdiagnosed. The criteria are intentionally vague. Because the vaguer the criteria, the easier the diagnosis, the more money made off the medication. AIDS is the same way. And the crazy thing about AIDS is what do they give AIDS people? AZT. AZT kills the immune system more than AIDS does. And AZT is the main drug of choice that they use for AIDS people. Totally destroys the immune system. In fact, there's some research that says more people with AIDS die from the AZT than from the AIDS. Okay? In Africa, they lump everything in as AIDS and Ebola. They're doing it right now. Buddy of mine from Liberia, he said that they are poisoning the water supply. People are getting sick from the water, And they're calling it Ebola even though it's not. Because that way they can do what? They can incarcerate people. Medical incarceration. They can contaminate you. Concentration camp. So we got to be on the lookout for how they just expand. So there is a such thing as Ebola. But you got a lot of people being diagnosed with it who don't have it because it serves a political agenda. AIDS is real. But I would argue that at least 20% of the black people in America diagnosed with AIDS don't even have it. Because it feeds the profit motive of the corporations that sell the medications. What we also know about AIDS, the other book was by a black homosexual named Boyd Graves, who I had the opportunity to meet. I met him at the Black African Holocaust Conference in Harlem a couple years ago. Boyd Graves was a homosexual naval officer, or Air Force, but I think it was Navy, who contracted AIDS. He was gay. He decided to research AIDS and find out where it came from, this disease that destroyed his life. And guess what he finds? And if you get his book, which I recommend, I think it's one of the books all black people should have, it's called State Origin. It's a blue book. It's called State Origin by Boyd Graves, The Manufacturing of the HIV Virus. In the middle of the book, he has a flow chart that he found in the government library that shows how they made AIDS. And also shows that they had a cure for AIDS before they let the disease out. Same thing with cancer. There's a cure for every cancer. But there's no money in curing. The money is in killing. Okay? You have to keep that in mind. Magic Johnson and that whole AIDS hoax. I have two perspectives on the Magic Johnson situation. Number one, they recruited him to act as if he had AIDS, to scare all black people into the possibility that they also have it. The other thing I think, which I think is more plausible, was that he took the AIDS test, came up positive for the antibodies, didn't have the disease, and they paid him to shut the hell up because it would have cost them billions of dollars for him to say that you cannot trust the AIDS test because I took it and I didn't have AIDS. See? There was two doctors in Africa who developed the cure for AIDS, two Africans. One of them was murdered, and I think the other one was stripped of his patents, forced to sell them, and was never allowed to practice and do any more AIDS research. Temple University last week, North Philly, where I live, they claim that they found a medication that neutralizes the AIDS disease. How much you would have bet it never goes to market? Why? Because there's more money in the drugs than it is in curing. Excuse me. Thanks. That's number one. And number two is an African racial extermination strategy. So the last thing you need is people coming up with ways for black folks not to catch it and kill each other with it. By 2005, the number of people living with AIDS reached its highest level. 40 million people, mostly African, African-American, Caribbean, African-Asian females are living with this man-made disease. Let me ask y'all a question. I was in Malawi a couple years ago, Southeast Africa. I escorted an elder over there. He met up with some of his Korean friends. They were Korean. They was over there trying to exploit Africa and they wanted him to help them. So me and the Korean argued the whole trip. But anyway, me and the Korean had a conversation about AIDS. So they was talking about AIDS in Southeast Africa and AIDS is killing the continent, da 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 da. And guess what this Korean man said? No, he doesn't like black folks. Guess what he said? He said, I have no doubt that you are correct about one thing. And that is that AIDS was invented to kill off your people. I said, why do you say that? This is a conversation we have in Malawi. He says because the white man is saying that the reason why AIDS is so high in the black community in America is because of promiscuity. Too many men sleeping around, gay people sleeping around, multiple baby moms, multiple baby daddies that spread AIDS. He said that's bullshit. I said, why you say that, Mr. Korean? He said, because, he said, I live in Korea. We have one of the highest prostitution rates in the world. He said, our prostitution rate is significantly higher than anything black Americans is doing. And we have almost no AIDS problem. He said, our prostitutes are poor, they are destitute, almost no medical insurance, no protection from the government, and almost no AIDS in a sexually promiscuous culture. So how can it be that sexual promiscuity is breeding AIDS in black folk when we have a lot of sexual promiscuity in Korea? Very low condom usage and everything else, almost no AIDS. He said it's because they're giving it to y'all. Damn. They're giving it to y'all. And we need to understand that. Biological weapons lab. Anybody with common sense know what that means. United States Army, biological weapons. That means you're about the business of what? Developing diseases that target certain people.
Genocide.
And this is one of the reasons why I keep telling you all, as a psychologist, to stop immunizing your children. Now, the question is, what do I do if I don't give them shots? They won't be able to go to school. That's a lie. There's only 2 states in America that dictate the child must be immunized in order to go to public or charter school. And even in those states, you can get a lawyer and get around it. And that is Mississippi and West Virginia. This is California. So guess what? You do not have to immunize your child in order for them to go to school. So what do? 3 strategies. Number 1, you go to the County Board of Health. County Board of Health, there's an exemption form that you can download, print, sign, notarize, give it to the school secretary, life goes on. Number 2, you can write a letter. I just had a parent do this in New Jersey. You write a letter, get it notarized, my child will not be getting shots, I'm against it, it's against my religious and my personal political views. My child will not be getting shots. You get it notarized, you go to the school. 3rd thing, you have your lawyer call the school. Once in a while, you might have to have a lawyer intervene. Once in a while. Most of the time, you can handle it on your own. Normally, when I see lawyers as necessary is when the child goes to a private school, like one of the rich white private schools. That's when you might need a lawyer. But if you're dealing with public or parochial school, any publicly funded program, the children do not have to be immunized if it's publicly funded. All you have to do is download that exemption form from the County Board of Health, write you a notarized letter, and what's the 3rd way, which is the easiest? Have your doctor fill out the immunization exemption form. That's the simplest way. Get your doctor to do it. Here's the problem with the doctors. Most doctors will have their medical insurance revoked, malpractice insurance, if it's found out that they're treating children who are not immunized. That's why a lot of doctors are afraid of that. Because if they treat your child, God forbid, if you decide to sue them for whatever reason, they're not protected. Queen.
My question is, what about, I know you talked about elementary schools, what about college? Most colleges won't let students in if they can't show immunization records.
You can get around that.
Okay.
If it's a public university. Private schools can decide what they want. A public university, you can get around it. They can't force you to immunize at a public university. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
What about people who are in medical field? Because a lot of hospitals, a lot of...
It differs. I do know for a fact, if you're a nurse or a doctor at a public hospital, okay, you can get around it, because I knew of a nurse who did. However, they made it so difficult for her to do her job, she just went ahead and got the shots. They required her to wear a certain type of an outfit, a certain type of a face mask. I mean, she was looking like an alien or something when she went to work. But you can get around it if it's public. If it's private, they can dictate whatever they want. But even still, you have a little bit of leeway. Okay? So, stop immunizing the children. In my experience, our children who are not immunized are healthier than the ones who are. They catch less colds, they can sit still longer, more intelligent, more disciplined, across the board. Not for everyone, but generally, from what I find, your child can only be benefited with the immunization. It also works when you leave the country. You're going to Africa. There is an international immunization exemption form that you can fill out that precludes you from having to get a shot to go home. So there's, even on an international level, you don't have to take the shots. Now, some of you are saying, what's the problem with the shots? White people take them too. Let's talk about that. I knew a brother who used to drive the trucks that delivered the immunizations in Philadelphia. One day he accidentally got the deliveries mixed up. The immunization for the ghetto accidentally went to the white neighborhood. And the immunizations for the white neighborhood accidentally went to the ghetto. So he dropped off the immunizations that was for the white kids in the ghetto. Before he could get up to the white neighborhood to give them the ghetto immunizations, he got a phone call. He didn't even know he was under surveillance. And they asked him, where you taking them shots? And I forget what the shot was, measles, whatever. He said, well, I accidentally dropped this package off there. But since it's the same thing, I figured it didn't matter. His supervisor told him, it is not the same thing. You will go and pick it up and take it to where the package says. I'm bringing this up to say what, black people? The immunizations they bring into the hood ain't the same ones they take into the suburbs. It's important that y'all understand that. I believe that they're putting time-release cancer in the immunizations that they're giving to black children. Just like you can go get some time-release vitamin C or some time-release Prozac, where some comes out as soon as you take it. A little bit more gets released at 2 o'clock, and the rest of it gets released at 6 o'clock around dinner. How about they have the same thing for disease? How about you get breast cancer at 40, heart cancer at 60, prostate cancer at 80. I think they're time releasing us with diseases. If you look at when most of us get our cancers, it's around the same ages a lot of times. Stop taking the shots. You don't need them. If you study the history of American immunization, you'll find that the immunization movement grew up around a need to protect whites from diseases black people didn't even get.
Come on. That's right.
The immunization works by doing what? Pushing your natural immune system out the way so the chemicals can work. If you have an arm that works, why would you cut it off and put a fake one on?
Yeah, come on. Make it plain. Make it plain.
Let me go a little bit further. In order to give you the flu vaccination, they have to put flu in you. Same thing with measles and everything else. They put a little bit of the disease in your body. The theory being what? That your body will develop a resistance to that small amount of flu so it'll be able to fight off future attacks. That's the logic. But is that the reality? Stop taking them flu shots. Time-release cancer. Time-release diabetes. Time-release hypertension. Do you realize that America has over 500 doctors who come to work on a daily basis to come up with diseases for black people? That's their job at the bioweapons lab. What new thing can we give to blacks? See, abortion was the first population control strategy. Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood, the early 20s. And by the way, W.E.B. Du Bois helped her out. But in his defense, I don't think he knew what she was up to. He just thought she was a good white person. And where did Margaret Sanger go to push Planned Parenthood? The black church. That's her first place. That's where she got her most support. She got with the pastors and said these women need to stop having these babies out of wedlock. They're not married. And the pastor said, See how they use them? And speaking of Planned Parenthood, I don't know if you know this, but 85% of Planned Parenthood centers are adjacent to black ghettos. Now some of y'all gonna say, well, white women get abortions too, but not at the rate you do. Black women have the highest abortion rate in the developed world. The only other women who get as much abortions as you are your sisters in South Africa. Ain't that interesting? Ain't that interesting? We've aborted over 3 million African lives since the 70s, which is interesting. Because if you look at the black on black male homicide rate and you compare it to the prenatal extermination rate, I think abortions are leading homicide. I'm not dealing with this from a moral perspective. I want to be clear. It ain't about judging you. I'm just saying we got to rethink our political behavior. And they keep talking all this talk about the Latinos is taking over. Well, let's talk about that. First of all, what the hell is a Hispanic in the first place? Do you know what a Hispanic is? A Hispanic is an African who speaks Spanish but who don't want to be an African. Their grandmothers are just as black as yours. Okay? My great-grandfather Cicero was a Spanish-speaking Cuban. Okay? And if most of you shake your family trees long enough, you're going to get a couple so-called Hispanics drop out as well, because during the transatlantic slave trade, they didn't bring us straight over to America. They took us to the Caribbean. And what were the two largest slave ports in the Caribbean up until the 1800s? Cuba and Puerto Rico. For those of you who know your Marcus Garvey history, you know that Cuba and Puerto Rico were the two most thoroughly organized Caribbean nations for Marcus Garvey's movement.
Yes, sir.
Imagine that. But the problem was when those so-called Hispanics, Spanish-speaking Africans came to America back in the 20s through the 60s, and they was filling out their paperwork, they would check white. Blacker than you. Head nappier than yours. White. And the white man said, hold up, what's going on here? They're not white, they black. But they said, no, we don't want to be identified with them. We special. So in the 1960s, 1970s, white men said, I'm going to give y'all your own title because y'all not white. Y'all cannot claim white. Ain't nothing white about you. You got a big butt, big hips, just like the black women do. Ain't But what we want to do, we're going to let you call yourself Hispanic, which is not a cultural word. It is a political title that the government created. Do your research. You don't have to believe me. And from 1970 into 2014, they've been letting Spanish-speaking Africans get away with calling themselves Hispanic. That's why when you look on the census or any job application, what do you see? Hispanic, not black. Black, not Hispanic. If Hispanic ain't black, why the hell you got to qualify it? Because it's the same people. Slave master dropped some of us off in the Caribbean and taught us Spanish, and brought the rest of us up here and taught us English. Same people. But that don't mean I go out recruiting Latinos, because some of y'all like to recruit people. Stop recruiting. Some of them are some of the most racist people you'll find. Yeah, they might be your biological brother or sister, but they can't stand your ass. They don't want a light-skinned supremacy movement, and they don't want to be bothered with you. So I say that to say, for my Latino brothers and sisters who accept their Africanity, they my brothers. There's some out there who do. But for the ones who don't, the hell with them. That go for black folks too. Okay? For any of you in here, if you don't want to be black, I'm done with your ass. I'm not trying to rescue people from their ignorance. Some of us want to go around recruiting people. You know you black, right? Fill out these papers. Come and join our team. We don't own nothing. Come play. The reason why you got so many black people who don't want to be black is because we losing right now.
Exactly.
If you want to play football, if you want to join a football team, do you go find a team that ain't won a game? Or do you go find a team who's been winning consecutively? It is not within human nature to start at the bottom and go up to the top if you can start out at the top. So when Hispanic comes to America, the Hispanic say, okay, I know I'm African, but they ain't got shit. I'm going to go ahead and play the white card. Or the son, or the Latino card. But I ain't going to say I'm black, because what good is saying I'm black in a place where blacks get no respect? That's why they do it. I understand it. I don't accept it. It's trifling, but I understand it. So that means 50 years from now, when we fix our problem, we got our own everything, they're going to come right on back. Julio and all of them. Red, black, and green. I need a job, Dr. Umar. You got to understand that. It's the politics of the race in between. It's the politics of the race in between. We got to be able to understand it. My biracial brothers and sisters, they African like the rest of us. But they have to make up their mind, some of them. On whether you want to be a part-time African or full-time African. I know I'm not talking about my brother back there. Some of my other brothers and sisters who might be of mixed parentage, you're still African like the rest of us. But some of them have a schism, right? They want to be black on the weekends and white during the week. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It ain't most of them, but some got that schism. I had a couple of them I had to check a few times. Like I'm noticing that when you with your white family, you don't even speak.
Wow.
See, you living two lives.
Wow.
It ain't that type of game.
No.
Make up your mind, you're either gonna be black or you're not. I don't even see what the hard part is because white folks are clear that you ain't white. They have no schisms and isms and shit. You ain't one of us. And it's interesting because when we talk about interracial marriage, and some of y'all think we're in a post-racial society, well,
No, we're not.
let me tell you a little story. When I was working on my doctorate, we had to do our practicums. And I had a white woman. And she was an attractive white woman. I don't see too many of them. She had a daughter with a black man. So she came to therapy. I'm a student and got to do my prep. I ain't got no problem. I work with anybody. So we're doing therapy about her depression, and then I got to the root of the depression. Guess what it was? Her mother, her Irish white mother, forbid her from bringing her black daughter to her house. Beautiful little black princess too. 12 years old at the time, has never met her maternal grandmother because her father was black. And she used to come to therapy and cry to me every week about how I can't believe my mother would reject my child. That's right. So for all y'all post-racials, you better wake up and smell the damn coffee. I learned of another situation. I think I learned about it here in California, my last visit, about this white woman had a baby with this black man. They went to the restaurant to eat. She said she had to use the restroom and never came back. She didn't want to be bothered with the fact that she had a biracial child. And this word biracial is just like Hispanic. It's a political creation. When you study blacks in America, you'll find that a lot of our people was biracial because of the slave masters' rape and exploitation. Nobody called Frederick Douglass biracial. Nobody called none of those people biracial. They was black like everybody else. But all of a sudden in the year 2000, having a black mother or black father, you're biracial. You know what that's about? That's about divide and conquer, separate and rule. That's about creating schisms within the black movement. We've never had an issue with the biracial piece. They either identified with us or they didn't. They was black either way, but they either identified or they didn't. Now it's biracial because Tiger Woods don't want to be black, it's biracial.
Right.
President Obama don't want to be black, it's biracial.
Right.
Halle Berry don't want to be black, it's biracial. But Mariah Carey don't want to be black, and she crazy as hell. She can stay on that side. Biracial. And did you see what they did with the 2010 census? Now they got multiracial. Damn. Now you can be multi. So now you got black people shaking their family tree, helping the crackers fall out. Come on, I know I got one in this tree. So you can check the multiracial box. I go on college campuses, I got black folks with black skin, big lips, big nose, nappy hair, talking about, I don't really know what to call myself, Dr. Johnson, because I got Asians in my family, East Indians in my family, I got this in my family, that in my family. When I'm standing up in there, I'm trying to think of something politically correct to say to the sick-ass Negro child. You look like Aunt Jemima personified. Talking about you don't know what a race your ass is. Hair nappy is it? What the? This is what we do. The illusion of inclusion. I'm talking to the girls in the class. One girl talking about, you don't know what you talking about because I got Indian in my family. We got this, and we Choctaw, and we Seminole, and we this and this and this. I said, if you don't sit your ass down, you ain't got Indian in your family. You got Perm in your family. Sit your ass down with that weed. You got that from the Korean store. There ain't no damn DNA. Black people crazy. Don't nobody want to be black. Nobody. You go in the whole room of black folks. What are you? You get anything other than black? I'm Muslim. I'm Christian. I'm Catholic. I'm this. I'm this. I'm that. I'm multi. I'm quad. I'm this. Nobody want to be black. First of all, when you look at the census, most of them designees are alternative names for black people. On the census, you got that category about 10 or 15 titles, right? You got your Anglo. You got your Asian. And remember, the Chinese people in America, they tried to fight for the right to be white too before, but they lost. Y'all know that, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, Chinese fought for the right to be white and they lost. The Mexicans fought for the right to be white and they won. Okay? Irish, Italians, and Jews, they didn't become white till 1940. Y'all know that, right? Yes, sir. Up until 1940, if you was Irish, Italian, and Jew, what they call you? Guinea! Why do they call you Guinea? Because that black hair and that olive skin means your ancestors was dancing around with the women from Guinea, Africa. Yeah. But the white man needed more people in his army. Because, you know, they're not too good on the reproductives. That's why AIDS and Ebola is important. See, the one thing you got to understand, if I put it in a form of a question, why is it that nearly every time a black man was hung in America, he was castrated? Now, they hung Jews, but they never cut their penises off. They hung Italians. They hung Irish in America. They hung Chinese in America. The Anti-Chinese Act was brutal, but they never castrated them. But 9 out of every 10 times when they hung a black male, they castrated him. Do you know why? Because that was the white man's insecurity. Not the size of the penis. That's where y'all get wrong. Because not every brother is blessed. Let's not get it messed up. Let's not get it. Some sisters know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, can we keep it real, brother? Okay? Okay, some brothers have a white ancestor who won out. Willie Lynch came to live. Okay? Okay? It wasn't for his size. It was for his genetic power, not the size. It's the genetic power. No matter what his size is, when a black man lays with a woman of any other race, the product of the relationship is an African baby. We are genetic dominant. They are genetic recessive. So if I'm a genetic recessive who got plans of taking over the world because of my own genetic insecurities, if I can't match the black man's genetic power, I can't match his genetic penile power, that means I have to come up with an equalizer. And it's called the big black gun. If the white man wants to kill black life, he has to use a gun. If a black man wants to kill white life, he only has to use his tools. You see the difference there? We don't have to kill nobody. We want to turn a nation black, we ain't got to kill nobody. We just have to cohabitate with the women. In 20 years, that country will be tan. 40 years, that country will be brown. In 100 years, it will be black with one black man. But if the white man was to come to an African country and change the color of the people, he has to systematically exterminate. That's why the gun has always been called in American culture the great equalizer. What are you equalizing? You're balancing the genetic power of the black man with your power of extermination. And that's why whites are so damn gun crazy to today. It is the equalizer. Now, we got to understand that when slavery ended, the United States Congress decided on a 0 population growth rate for black people. Through your history. One of the first deliberations in Congress is what to do with the Negro. Well, they said the first thing we're going to do is not let his numbers grow. That's the first thing. And abortion was so effective to that end. In fact, they don't even just do abortion no more, they do hysterectomies. I remember I was in South Africa, riding to the airport. And for those of you who are interested, I'm going to have my second group trip to Africa, July of 2015. We're trying to do South Africa, Ethiopia, and Ghana. So start saving your money, try to save about $5,000. No, you cannot bring your white girlfriend with you. No. Try to save about $5,000. You probably won't. I'm trying to get the tickets as cheap as possible. I'm not making any money on the trip.
Can you repeat that?
5,000, Ethiopia, South Africa, Ghana. Okay?
And don't bring your white girlfriend.
Some of y'all try to cheat and y'all gonna get what they call them a Mediterranean woman. You don't really know what the Can I see your birth certificate? What are you? Half orange, half purple, you? Cheat. Call yourself cheat.
sign up?
I should have the package ready when I get back out here on November the 1st. So what you can do, it'll be on my Facebook and my Twitter. It should be on my website too, but definitely Facebook and Twitter. So on Facebook, you want to get with me at Dr. Umar Ifatunde, Ifatunde. Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Not the other Dr. Umar Johnsons. Even though those have my face on it, those are not my page. Those pages are managed by the FBI, the CIA, and Homeland Security.
What?
Okay?
I got unfriend that one.
I got a lot of fake pages floating around. I got one fake page with like 30,000 likes on it. I don't even know who run the page. Got me on it and everything. Okay?
What?
It's called diversion.
Wow.
Dr. Umar Ifatunde is the one that I control.
Okay. I'm glad you said that.
Ifatunde. Ifatunde. Just like it sounds. Ifatunde. Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Twitter, Dr. Umar Johnson. WhatsApp, Dr. Umar Johnson. Instagram, Dr. Umar Johnson. Or you can text me on my phone. 215. This is my personal cell number. Take it down. Put it in your phone. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. You can text me around November 1st. I'll be back, Los Angeles, the Ebonics Conference at Charles Drew University on Saturday, November the 1st. I'll be back for that.
Repeat that one more time.
Which thing?
The number.
215-989-9858. Ladies, it ain't that type of party. Okay? You send me a picture, and it's ugly, I'm going to send it back with a restraining order. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! So, that's myself. Now, 95% of those with AIDS are living in the developing world. Black folks. Have you ever heard of the smallpox vaccination scandal? Back in the 1980s, the World Health Organization gave homosexuals in Los Angeles and Chicago and heterosexual blacks in West Africa a smallpox vaccination. And within 5 years, everybody they gave the smallpox to came up HIV positive. And you out there getting shots for flu viruses and shit. You done lost your mind. And you got your kids. H1N1. You gave your child an H1N1 shot, Hispanics and Negroes. H1N1 shot.
That sounds nasty.
Bird flu.
Yeah.
So they put the little bird flu in you to stop you from getting the bird flu? Are you crazy? You don't take nothing they got. Why would the people trying to kill you help you live? Okay? And Bill Gates, he was caught on tape at a meeting. You know, he's a Bilderberg now. He finally got recruited to the Bilderbergs. The Bilderbergs is the highest ranking white supremacist roundtable think tank. He finally got invited about 2 years ago. Now, he's the richest man in the world. He just got invited, so you can imagine who the new is. He's over in Africa spreading disease through immunizations. Bill Gates is over there trying to make sure all the mothers are healthy before they have their babies, give them a prenatal shot, kids get the flu shot. Who the hell need a flu shot in hot-ass Africa? Okay? Common sense ain't common. Well, anyway, they caught Bill Gates on a radio interview. It wasn't a radio interview, excuse me. They caught him in a conversation. I don't know how they got to tape it. He was saying that if America's current program in Africa continued, we should be able to successfully reduce the population by 20%. Has anyone ever heard of Global 2000? It was a presidential decree, I think it was Jimmy Carter. That's right. Who said that we want to eliminate half the black people in the world by 2000. Now y'all see me 14 years late, right? That's right. They said they wanted to eliminate half the blacks on the planet. Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State. Hillary, what did she say? Hillary said that America's #1 threat to national security is not Al-Qaeda, not the Taliban, not radical Arab Islamic terrorists. Guess what the #1 security threat is to America? Population control. That's right. They're more concerned about you having a baby than the Arab blowing up a damn tank somewhere. And of course, we know the Arabs ain't blowing up the tanks. Most of that stuff is being done by the CIA. They ain't done a damn thing. Anybody think 911 happened by Arabs, you crazy. All right? But my point is, that's why we see so many black women have stillborn babies. How can the black woman have the highest infant mortality rate in the developed world when you've been having babies longer than anybody else on the planet, and now all of a sudden you can't have them right no more? Right. Somebody talk to me. Black women been having babies for 2 million years, and now all of a sudden you can't do it no more. They're coming out dead. One eye. Well, that might have been because of the daddy. But anyway. And then y'all sisters give into it by taking the epidural shot. Epidural. I'm in pain. Well, it's labor. That's what it is. I'm in pain. White man come with the big needle in your spine. Boom. You need some more, sweetie? Boom. Now the baby don't take the epidural going to the bloodstream. Now the baby heart going crazy. Oh, I think we got to cut you open. I think we got to do a cesarean section because the baby about to have a heart attack. How the hell my baby will have a heart attack? They didn't even eat no chicken yet. What kind of shit is this? So then they cut you, pull the baby out, and once you get one C-section, they want all your babies to be C-section. Why? Because cesarean section birth is emergency surgery. They can bill the insurance company 3 times as much money. Wow, making money off black mothers. That's right. Furthermore, if I'm a delivery doctor and I'm being paid by the birth, what the hell I want to be dealing with you for 18 hours of labor? When all I got to do is cut your ass open, drag that baby out, and send you over to the surgeons to patch you back up. I can do 10 of them in a day. You see that? It's not economical to be dealing with one. And then you're dealing with white racist crackers. You don't want to look at no black vagina for 18 hours. And you wonder why the babies cry when they come out. The first thing a black child sees when they enter this world is a white supremacist. And you wonder why they cry. They've been in dark matter for 9 months, minding their business. And in one bust of the water, I come out and I see a blue-head, blue-eyed, blind head. I want to go to hell back home. Push me back. Ancestors, get me. There used to be a time we couldn't have our babies in their hospitals. We used to have our own midwifery process. Our own birth mamas, our own doulas. What happened to that black woman? Do you know that white women are getting into the whole midwifery business? I read an article a couple months ago that said the amount of white women who have their baby at the hospital is significantly dropping. So a lot of obstetricians and stuff are going out of business because white mothers don't want to have babies at the hospital, and they don't even want their damn prenatal care. Because now they want you to take pills now for prenatal care. Help kill the baby before it come out. Why aren't black women still having babies in the house? I knew a brother, he said, my wife ain't going to the hospital. That brother ain't been trained in no medicine or nothing. Guess what? When that water broke, he put her on the couch, got the white blankets and sheets, and delivered his own baby.
Wow.
I don't recommend it, but I applaud it. Damn, man. I can't deal with all that. See, the problem is black women got imported to the white Western world's way of civilization. The white woman wants to have a baby laying down. In African culture, you don't have a baby laying down because gravity works from vertical, not horizontal. In Africa, when they have a baby, there's a place for that, and the mothers is out there, and the queen come and they do their rituals and the ancestors and the Most High, and they make you squat like you're about to take a dump. And you push the baby out and they come out nice and smooth. Because the hips is pushing and the gravity working, you want to be sexy. So because you want to be sexy, you got to use the epidural. Why don't they make you stand up in the hospitals? This is nice and quick and easy because that's not civilized. Look at what civilization is getting you. All you black women in here need to consider doing what? Going to midwifery school. Yep, some of y'all need to get your license so you can start having babies. You talking about a job, you need a job, I'll give you one. They go one right there. Charge a discounted rate. You get all the business you need in Sacramento. Because these white women charging $8,000 to come in your house and deliver your child. $12,000 to come in your house and deliver your child. Shit, my homie did it for free. But I really think y'all sisters need to get into that. That's something we're going to have at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy for the girls. We're going to have a midwifery to doula program where I bring in midwives and doulas and teach our girls the science of giving birth. That's right. That's right. So when they graduate from school, they will know how to help other women bring that African life into the world. And from a political standpoint, what's the beauty of having a home birth? The white man don't even know that baby exists. Look at that! How many kids you got? None. You got 12. How many kids you got? None. I had them all in my house. You ain't gonna know about none of my damn kids. No taxes, no nothing. See, that's how it was back in the day. We didn't tell him how many people you got in your household. None of your damn business. And that's why y'all need to stop taking them censuses. I don't believe in filling out the census. The first census conducted in America was conducted at the end of slavery to determine exactly how many black folks were still alive. And they still conduct a census for the Negro count. The census is about you. It ain't about, oh, and then the bourgeois niggas come in and they say, we need you to fill out the census because that is how Congress determined how much money they want to give to the inner city in Sacramento. Now, how many damn censuses you done had since you've been alive, and what money you seen come to Sacramento because of the census? They ain't giving you no damn money. They use it so they can redistrict the political boundaries to destroy black political power. That's why they do it. Okay, we got too many black people living on this side of Sacramento. We got to change this. If we don't bust this up, they'll be able to elect anybody they want. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a highway right through the middle of the damn ghetto and split them up and put a strip mall on the main street in the black community and force all them to move out. That's right. They redistrict black power. They redistrict black power. And the other reason they do it is to know how many black folks exist. So when we do our next Ebola campaign, we know where to hit them at. Where's the highest concentration of black folks in Sacramento? That's where we're going to hit them at. And then we got to talk about environmental racism. Have anybody even done an environmental survey of Sacramento so we know what black people are living on top of? Are you living on top of a nuclear plant, nuclear waste, hazardous toxic dump sites? They did a study that showed that they had a disproportionate amount of hazardous toxic sites, not necessarily nuclear, but other types of toxic hazard near our historically black colleges and universities. Somebody said we need to do research and plot the cancer next to the damn toxic site and see if all this brain cancer and breast cancer and cervical cancer and prostate cancer, is it because the food we eat or is it because of the chemicals beneath our feet?
Sacramento City College. Know your land.
Know your land.
Know your land.
AIDS has reduced the life expectancy in several African nations to below 40 years of age. Such nations include Botswana, Malawi, Mozambique, and Swaziland. There's also propaganda with the AIDS thing. They try to make every African scared to go to Africa. Don't go over there, they all got AIDS. Don't go over there, they all got AIDS. First thing my cousin told me, listen, don't touch nobody while you're there, cousin. I'm going to Africa to have sex. I want to build something. Yeah, but I heard they got AIDS. I was watching CNN. Number one killer worldwide for those 15 to 49 years of African age. At least $7 billion is spent every year in America on AIDS medicine. Did y'all hear that? $7 billion is what Wall Street is making off of AIDS, and you think they're looking for a cure. And some of y'all suckers for this kind of stuff. We're going to have a diabetes walk. We're going to have a hypertension walk. Pepsi Cola is going to donate $2 million. The paradox of the AIDS epidemic is that the drug companies have created a type of paranoia around it, which has everyone thinking that they may have it, which gets them tested with the antibody test, in some cases misdiagnosed, put on drugs that kill the immune system, which still leads to premature death. You died from the drugs, not the disease. But when you die, what they say, he died of AIDS. No, he didn't. He died of the drugs they gave him for the AIDS. 40 million people living with AIDS isn't enough for the drug company. They want more people. More people. See, you gotta understand, white people want to live in Africa. White folks want to live in Africa. They tired of cold-ass Europe, icebox. And they ain't too happy with North America. Seasonal. They want that suntan year-round. So they got to get us out of Africa. And a lot of people say, this, how the hell are you going to get rid of all the blacks in the world? I'm not saying they can or they can't. I don't know destiny. But I do know they're doing a damn good job. AIDS is wiping black folks out. Abortion is wiping black folks out. And you know how they pushing the hysterectomies, right? Through the missionaries in Africa. That's right, they're using Jesus to convince black women in Africa. I've been, tell me what I know. They're convincing black women in Africa to get their whole reproductive system taken the hell out for $500 US in the name of the Lord. Because if you fornicate and bring out that child, that will be a curse of God. It will be better for you to just take it out. And we believe anything white people say is real. And in Africa, they worship you psychologically. Because remember, colonialism in Africa didn't get into the 50s. They only 50 years out of this. You 150 out of yours. So they just now starting to understand that whites are not all they think they are. We already know, but they just now figuring it out. Remember, we started getting black Jesus pictures in the 70s. Remember Black and Pride? That's when they remixed Jesus into Lionel Richie. I'm gonna say my Messiah, and some of y'all got Lionel Richie Jesus on your wall. That's right. That's right. You go into a black house now, my Jesus ain't white no more, Dr. Umar, but he look white with a suntan. Jerry curl. Metrosexual Christ, all naked with red lipstick on. That's right. Look at the black Jesus pictures. Why is he always half naked? The white Jesus got his clothes on. Black Jesus flexing, busting, stunning. Damn, man got his pubic hair out. Swag. If I'm wrong, tell me. Black Jesus, red lipstick, eye gloss, fake eyelashes from the Korean shop. Jesus Christ. You done lost your damn mind. Why you just can't get a black nappy-headed Jesus? You know why? Because you don't want to see nothing that looks like you. Like I said in Hidden Colors, you want to get the black church totally depopulated the membership? Put a nappy blue, black, purple Jesus up there. Nobody will come back to church next week. Like Dr. Ben said, religion is the deification of a culture. People take the best of themselves and they deify it. What did Dr. Kwesi say? He said, anytime your deity looks like your enemy, when your deity looks like your enemy, you begging to be a slave. And then some of y'all say, Dr. Umar, what does color have to do with it? Color ain't got nothing to do with it. Color got everything to do with it. That man on the wall is in the White House right now. Look at him. Because his ass was light-skinned with good hair. Hallelujah. Barack Obama is just as much a sellout as Clarence Thomas. So why does Clarence Thomas get treated like shit in the hood and Barack Obama gets worshipped? Because he's light-skinned with good hair. And Clarence Thomas is blue, black, purple with a nappy head. That's right. We still got colorism in the black community. We still got light-skin supremacy in the black community. And I'm not talking about light-skinned Africans either. Light-skin supremacy ain't got nothing to do with your skin tone, but your mindset. In fact, most light-skin supremacists I know are blue, black, purple, who don't want to be around nothing darker than a brown paper bag. And then they mistreat a lot of our light-skinned brothers and sisters for no reason at all, projecting on them their own insecurities. I got a niece with green eyes, slave master. My nephew, green eyes. My father, green eyes. Niece catch hell because of them green eyes. She don't think she's better than nobody. But other African children with insecurity complexes project them on the hush. You got to catch hell. Y'all light-skinned folk know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Being singled out and mistreated. Don't get me wrong, some light-skinned folk do got a light-skinned supremacist shit. But I think it's the dark-skinned people who got it worse. Yeah. I meet some brothers. I don't date no girl unless she light-skinned. Damn. And then we got black-skinned supremacy. Oh, we got some people say if you ain't blue, black, purple, you ain't shit. Am I wrong? My light-skinned brothers know because the sister said y'all done fell out of style. Y'all not even in style no more. You gotta be Idris Elba now. Right. Terrence Howard fell out of style. Right. It wasn't Tyrese. They don't want that pretty voice. Shamar Moore, they said that shit played out.
I know, right? done.
Idris Elba. But don't worry, fellas. Hold on. 10 more years, light skin gonna come back, and the brother's gonna catch the hell again. Dark skin. And then, ladies, y'all deal with it too. A lot of black men got a problem dealing with sisters who natural, especially if she's chocolate. Oh my God, she got a nerve to be purple and got locks. Fuck, where was you born? But even the light-skinned sisters catch hell when they wear locks. Am I wrong, ladies? The revolutionary brothers talking all this revolutionary stuff and don't want a sister with natural hair.
Have a white woman.
That's right. Oh, no, I don't like her hair. Like, but brother, you said you for the group. Yeah, but you know, I still like her. Selling out ass, fake ass revolutionaries. I see them all the time. I get the emails. Dr. Umar, my husband's birthday was the other day, so he said he wanted me to be natural. For his birthday, I treated him to a natural. Came back home and he asked me what I do that for.
Wow.
That's right. Brothers, we gotta walk what we talk. That's why I can't even date a sister with a process. I can't do it no more because it's a contradiction for what I stand for. I work in schools and I work with little black girls and I'm telling them every day, all day, that there's nothing wrong with your hair. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, all the way up to 12, nothing wrong with your hair. And then Dr. Umar coming in with a woman who thinks everything's wrong with her hair.
Right.
And brothers, let's not get it twisted. The reason why a lot of sisters are afraid to go natural is because they know deep down inside we talk that black power stuff, but we ain't ready to live it. We ain't ready to live it. You still want her with her perm and her slick back and her jerry curl. So her. But sisters, I'll say go natural. Go natural. I love natural hair. It's the most beautiful thing when a sister can be at peace with what God made her to be. In many African cultures, you cannot even touch your hair until you went through initiation and rite of passage. Because hair was divine and sacred. Our ancestors believed that your hair was an antenna. Your hair was an antenna that attracted spiritual energy down through your pineal gland.
All day, every day.
See that? That's why when you comb it, they go snap, crackle, pop. Pop, pop, pop! Pop, pop! There's power in the roots. Electric, you can start a fire with that thing. And you perming it out, and then now you got this whole thing now, because you know the chemicals that they put in the damn perm is strong enough now to go through the skull. And so now you got sisters getting cancer in their skull. I'm seeing all these black women now who now have to get sections of their skull removed because the damn perm juice then sunk into the skull bone and has toxified it.
Wow.
You are literally killing yourself to look white. Literally.
Wow.
And it's crazy because the white women trying to look like you now. Now they getting the lips made full of the big butt Kim Kardashian look. Kanye's a stupid ass. It bothers me that you got these rich black men who are willing to share and trade up a woman because she's of European stock but has the black phenotype, so the way they see it, they get the best of both worlds because I get a white woman with the big booty. And she going from Reggie Bush to Ray J to Kanye. If that was a black woman, they would have called her a whore. But because she white, it's all right. Look at the double standard. Look at the double standard.
Double standard. Say it again.
Now, I'm still doing the research, but from what I understand, Kanye did not have a prenuptial when they got married. Dumb ass. Are you mean to tell me that man is worth a couple $100 million, y'all? You mean that he deserves it?
He deserves it.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. When he's no longer the man in 10 years, she's going to get a divorce and start sleeping with somebody else like they all do. Look at Tiger Woods' dumbass.
Yeah.
That woman was a housemaid. She was the babysitter. And now she's a multi-millionaire, one of the richest women in the world because of his dumb ass. Talking about, I'm not black, I'm Kablan Asian, I'm multiple races.
Clown.
Ass broke now, can't even win a tournament. Anything about that damn money. Damn, $100 million. And then you got Michael Jordan's dumbass.
Oh, man.
How old is that woman? Like 36?
Maybe.
She's damn near 60. And you marry somebody almost young enough to be your daughter, and she's white. And you're one of the richest blacks in the country.
Cuban white. Cuban white, yeah.
White Cuban.
Model, yeah.
And so, when Michael Jordan gets old, up in age, and he transitions, and we don't wish it. But let's be honest, women live longer than men, black and white. Women live longer than men.
She got all this money.
So when we die and we marry these non-black women, they get all of our damn money. And you have no say-so in how they spend it. That's my problem with interracial marriage. I ain't got nothing against no white woman. She's a person. I'm going to respect her as a human being. But you don't give your wealth over to people who already got enough and earns they're stealing from yours. You don't do that shit. Even the young black actors. I like Terrence Howard. Then I saw a quote he said the other day, talking about the brother in the NFL who punched his wife and knocked her out.
Ray Rice.
He said, well, that's why black men don't date black women. They don't know how to look at that. That's Terrence Howard.
He said on film, TV? Should never said it in front of nobody. Should have kept it.
He married to a white woman of Mediterranean. I heard she's Mediterranean. You gotta get the person
He should have never said it.
The young black actors, Tay Diggs,
What?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh.
Don't make no damn sense. And they don't even be attractive women. Not even cute women.
Wow.
Bucking like a chicken at 40, neck hanging. That's who you want to wake up with. Is that your mother? No, that's my wife. Dang! The AIDS test you get at the doctor's office does not test for the disease, y'all. It only tests for the antibodies, which any one of us can have in our system. You got to know the difference between a disease and an antibody. Everybody in here got antibodies of something. You breathe them in through the air. Cancer, AIDS, this, that, but your immune system gets rid of them. How you want to say I got something because I got the antibody? That's like saying you smoke cigarettes because you're in the room with people who smoke. That's why they make you sign that waiver. July 2006, y'all, let's go back through the timeline. The Food and Drug Administration approves the first one-day drug for AIDS, which eliminates the need for a cocktail approach, which was dominant in the 80s and 90s. Now you just take one drug, and that's supposed to take care of all your AIDS issues. 1959, blame it on Africa. According to the white man, the first known cases of AIDS in America occurred in a person who died in the Congo. Stay with me, this is America, this is right now. This is right now. They will tell you that AIDS came to America because somebody in the Congo in Africa came over there with it. 1960. HIV-2, a viral variant found in West Africa, is thought to have been transferred from monkeys to people in Guinea-Bissau. Can I ask y'all a question? I want y'all to see the racism in this. The white position on AIDS. Some of y'all never heard this before. Do your research because you're not going to believe it. Go to the library. The white position on AIDS is that AIDS came from a monkey to a man. Better yet, let me take that back. AIDS came from a monkey to a black woman in the Congo region of Africa. And that black woman brought AIDS to America. Do you see what they're telling you right here?
Yes.
They're saying that black women were sleeping with monkeys. This is what they're telling you. That white women were having sex with orangutans, caught AIDS, and gave it to the world. If you don't believe me, do your research. They have not changed that story yet. They have not changed that story yet. The African rhesus monkey. It got passed on to a woman, but we don't know how it got passed on. But it went from the monkey to the black woman. They're saying that the monkey slept with the sister and gave AIDS to the world. Now, if we do our history on bestiality and human culture, who has the highest rate of bestiality in their culture? White folks. It was in the New York Times the other day. White man got locked up for having sex with his puppy.
What?
New York Times, yes. Horses, apes, fish, everything. Stop it! The homosexual culture, bestiality culture, anti-nature people. That's what they are. They are anti-nature people. Anything nature do, we're going to go against it. Nature said it only rains during these seasons. We're going to make it rain when it ain't season. Nature said you can only have a baby when a man and a woman lay down. Well, we're going to make it so a man and a man can have a baby. You know they're working on that now, right? They're trying to do it away where when the one man can impregnate his male partner and he can carry the baby.
Oh my God.
And now they got this new thing. I forget the name of it. You know the new thing is when the gay couple, two gay men, they will go to a woman and they will both take their semen and mix it up.
Cocktail.
And put their semen like a cocktail into the woman. So when she get pregnant, they don't know which one of them actually impregnated the woman. So they can live their life under the lie of never knowing whose baby this really is. But because we love each other, we don't care to know. I just want to live my life with no raise our child.
Until that baby comes out black.
Now I see some of y'all black women shaking your heads. Do you know how much money they pay for that? You can get $250,000 carrying a white gay man's baby. I see it got real quiet in here.
Money talk, huh?
Get your hustle on.
Money
Get your
talk.
hustle. Get your hustle. I'm only bringing that up because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a black person living in America and you claim you got principles you believe in, America will test the hell out of you. For all my young brothers, I'm talking to all my brothers in college right now, my sisters in college right now. I'm glad I went through college a generation before you did. You know why? Because now, because of the new gay hierarchy in the black community, in order for many of y'all to get into certain professions that y'all want to be, y'all gonna have to engage in homosexual practices as a rite of passage. That's right. Look at a lot of the black male politicians, black male preachers, black males in the media like effeminate Tom Joyner, black males in college, black males in college. A lot of them are effeminate, if you notice. Not necessarily gay, because you can be effeminate and not gay. Some brothers don't like nothing but women, but they're very effeminate in their demeanor. Effeminization has nothing to do with your preference for a partner. It's all about the manner in which you operate. Do you have a feminine disposition or masculine? Gayness relates to being attracted to someone of the same sex sexually. For example, when I speak in the prisons, a lot of them gay brothers are masculine as hell, but gay as shit. Okay? But I'm saying this, my brothers, because some of y'all gonna get tested and y'all gonna have to be strong enough to say, I'm not in there. They're gonna say, you want this job? You can have this job tomorrow. $250,000, $20,000 sign-on bonus. But you have to come into my office for a few minutes.
Break it down.
This is what they're doing. And a lot of brothers are breaking down, thinking about committing suicide, because you know what they did? They paid the price. Got in, realized it wasn't worth it. And now they're hurting inside because I contradicted what I stand for to get somewhere in life. It's the homosexual hierarchy in the black community. Wow. Ladies too, there's a lesbian ring. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper. There is a lesbian female ring operating within the black female conscious community in the United States. I ain't gonna say no names, but you know I get all the stories because I'm a therapist. I get all people's stuff. I'm telling y'all sisters right now, if you're conscious, be on the lookout, because sooner or later you will be approached by other so-called conscious women who are going to want you to join a certain type of a behavioral circle. That's right. See, some people take that feminism too far. Some people take their issues with black males too far. You talking about you hate men, you hate men, you hate men, you hate men, you hate men. Sooner or later you end up on the other side. Same thing with you black men. I hate women, women ain't shit, women ain't shit, women ain't shit. Next thing you know, you floating through the aisle. Remember, at its basic level, lesbianism is rejection for the black male. At its basic level, homosexuality is rejection of the black female. Why did the Greeks and the Romans practice homosexuality so hard? Because in their religious doctrine, they felt that, you know, because the devil made Eve bite from the tree, right? They said the woman was the handmaiden of the devil. So they said any godly man would not sleep with a woman because the woman is the handmaid of the devil. She's the one who caused Adam to fall from grace. So for those of y'all who know your Christian history, you got to understand it is from that history that homosexuality was born. Blaming the woman for the faults of the man. It goes all the way back to religion. So the Greeks and the Romans said, we're not going to sleep with other women, we're going to sleep with men. Gods will sleep with gods. That's where the practice comes from, smacking men on the butt. If you watch football and basketball, you know how they give each other a pound? Now the brother doing it ain't gay, right? LeBron smacked Dwayne Wade on the ass. It's just a cultural thing, right? But guess where it comes from? They come from Greco-Roman culture. That's how the pedophile chose his boys. He would walk by and smack him on the ass. That means I see you later.
Wow. Wow.
Any brothers in here used to wrestle?
Oh,
the whole wrestling culture comes out of the pedophilia and the homosexual culture. That's why in wrestling, what happens? You get down in front,
Yeah, I never liked
and he gets behind you.
Yeah.
He puts his hand here.
Yeah.
Hand here. That's what you do before you sodomize somebody.
Wow.
Oh,
Because remember, in order to sodomize the kids, you had to wrestle them down to the ground. I'm just giving it to you.
Thank you.
The word mentor. That's why we say our boys need mentors. They need mentor. The mentor was the pedophile. That's where the word torment comes from. To torment the child sexually. Mentor. This is them. Break it down, brother. And everybody's scared to speak out against it. 1975, first reports of wasting and other AIDS symptoms are reported in Africa. 1976, a Norwegian seller dies of AIDS contracted in Africa during the 60s. Notice how they blame it Africa. Africa. 1977, a Danish physician, Greg Brosk, dies of AIDS contracted while where? In Africa. 1978, a Portuguese man dies of HIV-2, first non-African person to get infected with the new strain, which he allegedly caught in Guinea-Bissau, Africa. 1980, Ken Horn, first official case of U.S. AIDS, is reported to the Center for Disease Control. 3 other official U.S. deaths from AIDS are recorded the same year. 81, Nick Rock, the first New York City AIDS case, dies on January 15th. By the end of the year, 121 people have died in America of AIDS. 1981, gay-related immunodeficiency. That was one of the early names for AIDS. Center for Disease Control reports a cluster of pneumonia. Check it out. A cluster. That means they're clumping diseases together. A cluster of pneumonias. Since when is ammonia AIDS? And 5 gay male drug users in Los Angeles. And that's another thing. The shoot 'em up culture, it was putting the virus in the drugs too, mixing it with the heroin. They bring it through the illegal economy and they bring it through the legal economy at the same time. Stop putting stuff in your body. Even the stuff that they sell you in the stores. They put stuff in the food in the stores, y'all. You gotta watch that stuff. And that's why you gotta watch what you eat. You eat Whole Foods, but Whole Foods ain't even Whole Foods. Remember, back in the 80s, there was what? Raw. Remember they had the big raw sign on the box? This is raw. Then they went to all natural. Then they went to organic. And then they went to certified organic. Do you know why they keep changing the title? Because what they're doing is they keep on changing the definition of what organic is. Do you know that in order for something to be organic in America, check the Food and Drug Administration website. You can have non-organic products in it. It's a percentage. I think it's 95%. 95% of the product must be organic and be called organic, but 5% can be made up stuff. That's why y'all go to Whole Foods in Sacramento talking about, I'm going to give you some watermelons. And you buy a 25,000-pound seedless watermelon for $5. You's a dumbass. First of all, how the hell you got a grape or an apple with no damn seeds talking about it's organic? What the hell is organic about something without no seeds in it? If it's organic, it gotta have seeds. They playing with your emotions. Because organic is a buzzword for black people. Put organic on something black people around. Organic lollipop. Manipulating you. They know you want to eat healthy. They know you want to be healthy, so they manipulating you. And then the food be so damn expensive in the Whole Foods. Damn. I went in there one day for lunch. I'm a PhD psychologist. I went in there for lunch, bought some grapes. No, cherries. Cherry, my favorite fruit, right? I swear it was 20 cherries in that bag. She said, you got to put on this. Guy, how much is the cherry? She said, you got to put on this on the bottom. For 20 cherries, I paid about $30. Talking about they out of season. Well, so is your ass, because I'm not buying. How's that? Everybody's out of season today. Crazy stuff. And all these stop and goes we got in the hood, Latinos, Asians, the corner stores, please be careful about shopping from a corner store. Let me tell you what they do. I'm a corner store, poppy store, black neighborhood. You know what I do? I got a relationship with the major white supermarket. Let's say it's Pathmark, the big place, right? I go to Pathmark and we got a relationship where they call me up 1 week before the milk go bad. And I come and pay them a discounted price, up to 75% off of that bad milk, which I can legally still sell to the blacks in the neighborhood because the expiration date hasn't ran out. But what I'm gonna do, because I believe milk don't go bad that fast, I'm gonna change the expiration date on the bread and on the milk and on the orange juice. I'm telling you what they do. As much as you can, if you got a shop, go to a supermarket. Watch the corner store, they selling you bad food. They selling you bad food. Please be on the lookout for that. And by the way, I don't know if y'all know, but the Food and Drug Administration approved, they can now sell cloned milk in the supermarket. Cloned milk can now be sold in the supermarket. Okay. 1982, the CDC announces that drug users can become infected with HIV through sharing of needles as a major source of disease. So they admitted that you can get AIDS through the needles. Drug users, heroin epidemic. 1984, AIDS comes to America. The United States Health and Human Service Secretary announces that Dr. Robert Gallo has discovered probable cause of AIDS, a retrovirus subsequently named human immunodeficiency. In 1985, March 2nd, the FDA approved the first AIDS antibody screening test for use on donated blood for transfusions. Rock Hudson is the first American celebrity to die of AIDS in '85. The Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization defines AIDS in Africa as prolonged fevers. Look. Remember how I said they clump stuff in that's not even AIDS? Look at this. A prolonged fever for a month or more, losing 10% of weight, and prolonged diarrhea. Now you and I know there's a lot of flus and other things you can get where that can happen. But in Africa, they automatically call you AIDS and they quarantine you. It's the definitions. White supremacy kills black people through the definitions. Yes. You have to know the definitions of everything. In fact, whenever you have the conversation with white folks, even though you know the definition, you need to know their definition.
Exactly.
Excuse me. What do you mean when you say that my son was given a fair chance?
Right. Exactly.
What do you mean that black people are citizens of the United States? What exactly do you mean by freedom? If you stick to the words, they will never be able to outsmart you. Make them define the words they use. Hell, you can make them define every word. What does the mean? Oh man, what? No, the, I need to know. That's the first word in the sentence, damn it. What is that? 1 million Americans are infected with the disease in 1986. AZT is approved to treat AIDS. 1991, Magic Johnson. Y'all remember that? Yes. 1991, I was in 11th grade, diagnosed with the disease, but has yet to suffer any symptoms. Can anybody explain that to me? How the hell you had AIDS since 1991 and you ain't had, you see how fat Magic is, neck all big? Look like Mike Tyson neck. Talking about he got AIDS. I can't tell. You notice you ain't heard no conversations about it or nothing no more because he never had the damn thing. He's part of the front. Damn AIDS. 1992, when I graduated from high school, AIDS becomes the #1 killer of men ages 24 to 44 in America. 1999, January the 31st, a study suggests that a chimpanzee virus was passed to humans in West Equatorial Africa and developed into 2 various types of AIDS. They still say they came from monkeys in the damn jungle. 2000, the World Health Organization estimates that 20% of new AIDS cases are the result of blood transfusion. Most blood is properly screened today, so how can you justify the increase? Wow. Gotcha. Simian immunodeficiency virus, SID, is found in gorillas, suggesting that Africans got some AIDS from the gorillas. Because remember, white folks said we was jungle bunnies and shit, we was sleeping with the animals. So it was real easy to convince the world that we got AIDS from the monkeys because that's what we slept with anyway, the damn monkeys. And then white folks got a nerve to be talking about some black people look like some damn monkeys, right? So the next time a white person tell you look like an ape, this is what I want you to tell the crack. Tell him if I shave the ape's hair off of his body, what color is his skin? And does the ape have a big, full buttocks like a black man or woman, or a flat ass like the European? And does the ape have full lips like the black man and woman, or small lips like the European? Does the monkey have a big nose like the black man, or a small one like the European? So who really related to the monkey? Me and you, mother. And then he says what? What they call it? Natural selection. Charles Darwin, evolution. We came from monkeys. Listen. Let him say that, because he did. But you did. Some of y'all there arguing with white people. You did not come from a monkey. Yes, he did. He tells you. He was crawling, and then we started walking, and then we stood up straight. And then we started molesting our kids. So if he wants to believe he came from a monkey, let him believe he came from a monkey. But you didn't come from no damn monkey. In fact, there was some research that came out 2 months ago that said that only Europeans, white folks, have a gene within their DNA that is Neanderthal. Nobody else has it. So yes, he came from the damn monkeys. He became that. We had advanced civilizations at the time of the caveman. So we couldn't have evolved from you because we were already evolved. In conclusion, I want to get to something really quick. Here we go. Real quick on Ebola. Okay. Named after a river in the Congo. Know that? The Ebola River. Named after a river in the Congo, the Ebola virus kills 90% of its victims. The Congo, the richest nation on earth, also gets blamed for being the birthplace of AIDS and Ebola. Why the Congo? Because the Congo is the richest piece of real estate on the face of the earth. There's no place on earth that has more or a higher concentration of natural resources than the Congo. Gold, diamonds, oil, coltan. You know what coltan is? That's what you need for your cell phone, your iPad, your laptop, car, helicopter, any electromagnetic device that communicates needs coltan. Guess where the world's largest repository of coltan? The Congo. So you see the strategy? Make people scared to go there so we can keep robbing and stealing shit. That's what all this is about. In 1976, while blacks in America were fighting to send their children to integrated schools, this virus is also blamed on monkeys that infected humans, but no one has clarified the medium of transmission. In other words, white folks say that Africans got AIDS from the monkey, but they won't say we slept with the monkey. Those infected or who die from liquefaction of their internal organs. Ebola liquefies your organs. Do you know what that means? Could you imagine your heart, liver, and kidney boiling to the point of melting? That don't come from God. White man made that. And now you see what they're doing? We're finding cases of Ebola in America. I'm telling you where this is heading. To you. Next thing you know, they're going to talk about something. We found a whole community. They ain't going to say black, but it's all black. We found a whole community where 85% of the people somehow, we don't know how, we doing research and studies, they've all been infected with Ebola. How did Ebola jump over the Atlantic Ocean that fast? They playing games. And guess what's so sad about it? You got white doctors who work at that bioweapons lab too. You got black doctors coming up with diseases for black people. Major outbreak reasons for Ebola. Check it out. The Congo, diamonds and coltan. This is where the Ebola at. Sudan, oil. Gabon, all kind of resources. South Africa, gold and diamonds. Uganda, gold. Is it a coincidence that the highest rate of AIDS and Ebola in Africa is with the highest concentration of resources? In conclusion, brothers and sisters, because there's a lot more here, but I know we got to take our break. The point is, we got to understand all this is about one thing: zero population growth. The goal for the European is to get black people to zero population growth. That means what? I need y'all to understand what it means. And then I'll conclude. It means we want to get to a point where more black people die every year than are born. The minute you can predict that in Sacramento for the year 2014, we had X amount of blacks died, X amount of blacks were born. More died than were born. You're at zero population. That means you can do a mathematical calculation and you can predict the year where there won't be another black in Sacramento. That's why we must be against abortion. That's why we must be against homosexuality. That's why we're against AIDS and Ebola. That's why we don't want our children immunized. That's why we don't want our elders immunized. That's why we fight against drugs and alcohol and cigarettes, because all of that weakens the black male's sperm potency. It also weakens the black woman's ability to ovulate. That's why they want to give our young black teenage girls an HPV vaccination in their cervix. Y'all heard about that last year. They want you to let your daughter open her legs so they can put a needle in her cervix so she don't get cervical cancer. Are you kidding me? You really believe that? That the Food and Drug Administration is going to give your daughter something in her cervix so she don't catch it? And then 5 years from now, she's sterile. Sorry. Remember, they was what was the drug? It was Depo-Provera. And they found out that the Depo-Provera wasn't just stopping black women from getting pregnant, it was stopping them from ovulating. Shutting your whole system down. Now we got all these black women who are getting cysts in their ovaries. We got it clear. I just had a sister text me the other day crying. A friend of mine, they want her to take out her ovaries. Talking about, you got a high risk of cancer. Why don't we just get rid of the eggs now? That's right. Because you fail to realize that white supremacy is non-emotional. They don't give a damn. These are people who put your ancestors in chains and treated them like they was less than animals. They the same people now. And stop letting people tell you to stop talking about slavery, because at one point or another, everybody was a slave. It might be true that at one point or another, everybody was a slave. But guess what? No slavery equals yours. 3 things make the American enslavement of the African totally unidentical with any other slavery in world history, including the Bible. Number 1, your slavery was the only slavery in world history where you were not considered a human being.
Thank you.
Show me a slavery anywhere on earth where the victims were not even people. You had to fight to be a person before you could fight to be free. Don't let nobody tell you that shit. Number 2, your slavery is the only slavery in world history where it was punishable by death for you to want an education. No other slavery made it punishable by death for a person to simply get an education. And number 3, your slavery is the only slavery in world history where everybody in the world participated and benefited from it. You don't let nobody tell you that, but the white man knows that. And the reason he don't want you to keep talking about slavery, because the more you talk about slavery, the more you eliminate the illusion of inclusion. And that's why Texas Department of Education just passed the law that says they no longer teach slavery in history. That's right. Says y'all don't want to be black anymore. Why don't we just get rid of that piece of y'all history that made y'all so different from the rest of us? And the other reason why they don't want you to talk about slavery is because it means that they're old. We are old. Reparations. But let me be clear, before we get external reparations, we must first give to ourselves internal reparations. Internal. Psychological reparations before the money. Because if black people don't fix our problem, we could get $1 trillion today. And white folks will be $1 trillion richer tomorrow. Check me out. And this is where I disagree with the reparations groups. We respectfully disagree. But why are y'all looking for a payout before you have the economic infrastructure to capture that money when it comes in? So are you really fighting this fight for our people, or are you looking for a personal economic stimulus package? Has anybody seen the list of the lawyers who are involved? Who's fighting this fight for reparations? Are these bourgeois Negroes? Who are these people? Are these boule Negroes? Who are these people? Why is that lawyer list secretive? Don't let nobody con you on your emotions. We got to come to the table intellectual about the situation. Because we may get it, but if the cracker strikes a deal with the boule, it'll be like you got nothing. In my opinion, money should not be one of the commodities on the list to be requested. Because American money ain't worth shit in the first place. And the only thing you can do with money is give it away. So anything on the list of requests for reparations has to be things that can never run out. Because the benefit that accrues to white people by virtue of our ancestors being in slavery will never run out. So that means we may never pay tax a day again. We may go to college for free. Certain resources can only be sold by black folks. Certain neighborhoods can only be controlled by black folks. Certain waterways are totally under the domination of black folks. Things that don't run out, not money. I hear these reparations Negroes was talking about $1 amount. I don't want no damn dollar amount. Because when that money ran out, we're stuck. And without no infrastructure, all you do is make white folks rich tomorrow. Everybody get $1 million a day. The first thing you're going to do is go get you an S500. And some hair. And the last thing I'm going to say before we take the break, because white folks is playing a psychological game on black people talking about, I didn't own no slaves. I'm only 40 years old. Why y'all blaming me for something that happened 300 years ago? Why don't y'all? I'm going to tell you why I blame you. Cracker. You're correct. You were not a slave master. You did not live during that time. You're absolutely correct. But you, white person, every one of you, poor and rich, are the beneficiaries. You are the inheritors of a legacy and wealth that my ancestors died to accrue. And you have not yet made the decision to give some of that shit back to the generations of the descendants of those who earned it. So I don't blame you for whipping my mother. I don't blame you for making her a slave. I blame your trifling ass for inheriting the benefit of slavery and doing nothing to level the playing field. And as far as I'm concerned, there's just as bad as owning to slave your damn self. That practice shit. I'm out of my business with that shit. Talking about you got a white friend? Stop bringing up race and racism to your white friends and see how much longer they hang around your ass. A black person can only be a friend to a white person if you practice historical amnesia, if you practice racial amnesia. But the minute you bring up something about black people being treated differently, they will abandon your ass. White people culture based on military science. Everything white people do is being done with an agenda. If you have a white friend, they are with you for a purpose. They will befriend you for a purpose, something you got that they need. Their whole culture is military science. Every time you have a conversation with a white person, you are in an intellectual battle. And black people, you have to discipline your tongue because we tell white people too much about business. You tell white people too much of your damn business. Well, what about the poor white people? They in the same boat. No, the hell they don't. How many poor white men you see being shot dead by cops? Even a poor white person has a better benefit than you because they benefit from the badge of whiteness. They benefit from the white privilege card. When they wake up in the morning, they ain't got to worry about answering to a black person. They ain't got to worry about needing a black person. They ain't got to worry about being beat by cops. Even a poor white person has an easier life than a rich black one. Ask Oprah Winfrey when she was over in Europe and they went to serve her in a restaurant. Ask Oprah Winfrey when she was in Bermuda. I spoke in Bermuda 2 summers ago. They told me Oprah Winfrey was in Bermuda trying to buy a vacation home, and them crackers in Bermuda forbid Oprah Winfrey of buying that vacation home. Ask Jay-Z. He tried to buy a theater in Chicago and the crackers said, no, we don't care how much money you got.
Yes, say that.
That's right. That's right. Talking about something, well, it ain't about race, it's about class, it's about education, it's about income. White people love to tell you that shit, you know why? Because it'll send you on a goose chase to accrue them things that they told you will make you equal with white people. So you go to college, you get a bachelor's, you come back, can't find a job. You go back, get your first master's, come back, can't find a job. Go back, get your second master's, come back, can't find a job. First you was underqualified, now you... What is that? What is that? If I want to sweep floors at McDonald's to keep the damn lights on in my house, what the hell does my degrees got anything to do with it? The bottom line is we're not going to hire your ass, no matter how many degrees you got. Remember, there would be no black middle class if the United States government didn't create it. Most blacks who are in the middle class are government employees. Post office, school teachers, cops, so forth and so on. Because private white capital doesn't hire black people. That means there is no black middle class. There is no black middle class. It is a creation of the government to give the illusion of progress. And that's why you never see Dr. Umar Johnson on Tavis Smiley Town Hall. Why Tavis ain't got me here? Why I ain't been here? our white brothers. How are you going to call these people your brothers? You are confusing our children in terms of who their enemies are. Stop using confusing ass language, our white brothers. That shit didn't even work in civil rights. It damn sure gonna work now. Come on. Be for your own self. Black people, stop waiting on God. The God that you serve lives within you. And the God that you serve only works when you work. So if you don't get off your ass, God won't get off God's ass. You are the God. You are the God. Let nobody tell you we won't fix this. We will come up out this once we make up our minds to do it. And guess what? The whole world waiting on the black man and woman. The whole world is saying we're coming back to break. The whole world is saying what they're waiting for. Because only you can fix this planet. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Thank you, brothers and sisters.